in the preseason, we talked about sort of an in vogue stat, or a stat that you, Christian, expected to be a bit more popular this year, whether it will be on TV or on the newspapers or on radio, and it's the 100x. So the stat which ranks every player per 100 minutes played against the competition average in that position. So I guess to clarify, if you have a plus 3.2 100x rating as a midfielder, you are on average 3.2 ratings points better per 100 minutes of game time than the average midfielder. Am I saying that correctly?
Correctly. Game time in the midfield too. So
Yes.
not just all your game time, just as when you've played midfielder. So if you've played 100 minutes across the game, 70 of those were as a midfielder and 30 was as a forward. We'll take your points in that 70 minutes as a midfielder and extrapolate that to 100 points. That's your 100x rating as a midfielder of that game, but you'll also have that 100x rating as a forward in that game too.
Yes.
So we can compare everyone in all positions.
So you're extrapolating it out. And there might not be players that have played 100 minutes so far in a certain position as well. But we did say we were going to keep up to date with this throughout the year.
Yep. So
sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say exactly that. So I've gone through and sort of very early days, so hard to make any big calls about just using this year's data. One that did stand out to me is Isaac Heaney, because everyone's sort of talking about, well, you've got to keep him in the midfield now, and I think he is the third or fourth best midfielder per 100 minutes.
But you just said in this episode earlier, you have to keep him in the midfield.
I think you do.
The best player in the competition at the moment, if you're using everyone to at least play 60 minutes in a position, the best player in the competition is Isaac Heaney as a forward.
Yes, because I'm going to fight you on this forever, because that's him playing as a midfielder and then going forward.
Yes, but when he's actually gone forward, he's still
he's
getting those rating points. He's still taking marks inside 50. So again, I know your debate about where he's getting it on the ground.
He's proved he needs to be around the ball more.
And I think this is the Petrarca and Heaney sort of thing. Yes, their numbers are good as a forward, so it sucks you in. Maybe we need to let him spend more time forward. But I think it is that. It's because 80% of the game time is in the midfield.
His opponent follows him inside 50, or he's got a mismatch. Or...
so when he does go forward, he's either dragging a midfielder who's sort of out, or he's getting a defender who has to switch over from someone else.
It's different. Whereas if you go down there,
from the first minute of the first quarter, someone's going to identify you, watch you. You go into the midfield, come back to the forward, and that guy's going to come find you again.
So what was his number, sorry?
So he's been in there for at least 72 minutes this year, so plenty of time as a forward, plus 27.7. So he should be averaging 7.7 rating points per 100 minutes as a forward. But he's actually averaged the 34 point whatever as a forward in
which is off the charts.
Well, it is. It's as I said, number one player in the competition and 10% above. So it's hard.
10% above the next best player.
The best player in his position.
And his start to the season should not be glossed over. It's extraordinary, his first 3 games of this year, and we looked at these numbers where it sort of ranks in terms of rating points through 3 games. In the last 15 years, since rating points have been introduced, we've only seen 4 times has someone had a better 3-game start to a year.
Aaron Hall in that list?
No, he's not, surprisingly. Dustin Martin in 2017 won a Brownlow.
Won everything.
Gary Ablett in 2012 was an extraordinary effort. He polled 9 out of 9 Brownlow votes, averaged 42 and 2 to start that year.
Did he actually?
Yeah. And I believe he was the AFL MVP. Buddy in 2018 was the All-Australian captain. And Patrick Dangerfield in 2017. Well, he actually didn't win anything. That's because he polled 33 Brownlow votes and came second to Martin. So Heaney's next. So he's putting together, yes, it's early. We've only played like 12% of the season. But he is on track for something extraordinary at the end of the year.